Here today, I get to present you guys with my top 10 pound for pound list. The way I'm grading this is based upon how well these fighters do against other weight classes, dominance, influence, and fight IQ. With that being said, let's get right into it. Number 10, Valentina Shevchenko. She actually speaks 3 languages, which is a talent in itself, but that goes along with how well she moves in the octagon, and it almost makes her look like she's a James Bond character. Valentina has one of the best fight IQs in the game. She is one of the smartest fighters overall, and the way she sets up the finish is unbelievable. She is always looking to end it, but at the same time, she's never looking to do it drastically. She is super calm but confident, and that's why I believe she deserves a spot on this list. She also faced up against the girl GOAT and went up a weight class to fight Amanda Nunes, who I will be talking about in the near future. But let's get right into it.
Number 9, Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier was able to hold 2 of the toughest titles at the same time, which makes him worthy of the list. But then when you factor in how he ragdolled most of his opponents, and the ones that he was fighting on the feet, he was piecing them apart with his heavy-handed strikes. Overall, super dominant force and very smart fighter. I bet he'd be ranked higher on this list if it wasn't for his fights against Jon Jones.
Number 8, Conor McGregor. A lot of you guys won't agree with Conor being this high on the list, but hear me out. Conor has knockouts in the featherweight division, the lightweight division, and the welterweight division. Can you guys name anyone else that has knockouts in 3 divisions? With that being said, he has very dominant wins over some elite fighters, and he was able to find the finish super well, and he showed how high his fight IQ is. That's why I believe he definitely deserves a spot on this list. Number 7, Amanda Nunes, the girl GOAT. It was sad to see her lose recently to Juliana Pena, but I would not be surprised if she comes back and revenges that loss, because that's how good Amanda really is. Amanda has shown that she is a very fierce fighter when she beat Ronda Rousey, Holly Holmes, and many more elite fighters. And in the fashion that she beat them was just so amazing, because she made some of the greatest female fighters look like average fighters. Number 6, Camaro Uzman. Kamaro's a very well-rounded fighter with some very impressive wins. His fight IQ is through the roof, and that shows when he switches his game plan halfway through a fight when he knows the first game plan is not going to succeed. Camaro is evolved every single time he steps foot into the octagon, so I'm very excited to see him in his next state. Number 5, Jon Jones. This one's going to be a little bit controversial because of his past steroid use, and that's the reason why he's not going to be ranked higher on this list. But Jon has a nearly perfect record. The only time he hasn't won is when he beat his opponent in an illegal way. Jon always has an answer to anything that his opponent sets in front of him, so it's going to be very impressive if he is able to beat these heavyweights, and if he does, I'm going to have to put him higher. Number 4, Demetrius Johnson. In my opinion, DJ is the smartest fighter to ever live. And the reason I say that is because how well he mixes everything together. He can take you out on the feet, he can take you out on the ground, or even he can do a flying submission. Demetrius Johnson is one of the most athletic and well-rounded fighters overall, and his fight IQ might be the best. But with that being said, one of these fighters ahead of him has actually beaten him. Let's get to it. Number 3, George St. Pierre. George is another fighter who can actually fight against adversity very well. He can always dig himself back out of a bad position, and that's what makes him a true champion. George is a very well-rounded fighter who can actually finish you in almost any position of the fight. With that being said, he always sticks to his game plan right away, but if that game plan isn't working, he has a million more. George is a super smart fighter, and that's why he deserves a spot on this list. Number 2, Henry Cejudo. Henry's an Olympic gold medalist who has knockouts over some very high-level people, so that is just amazing by itself. But Henry has also shown us that he can move up to any weight class and still hold his own. Henry is also very smart because he'll switch up his styles against different people so that he can see different angles and so that he can throw them off, which shows exactly how smart he really is. Number 1, undefeated, undisputed, Wait, I'm joking. Number 1, Khabib. Khabib has shown us pure dominance with his perfect record. He has also brought his whole country with him, and this whole time he has stayed humble and he has stayed true to himself. Khabib is the smartest fighter because he chose when he was done. He knew that there was nothing more that he could have given us, and that's exactly why he is super smart, and just overall the way that he presented himself is just so admirable. I think everyone should look up to Khabib, and with that being said, I was a huge fan of Conor before, but now I am just such a big fan of the both of them and for what they have done for this sport. I would have never been a big fan of this sport until I watched Conor. Obviously I watched before, but just to see the true wars between fighters like Khabib and Conor, it shows you the ambition that these people have to do whatever they set their mind to. That proves that you can do whatever you set your mind to. And I appreciate you watching this. Definitely stay blessed and check out more of my content.